Hello everyone and welcome. My name's Lenny and this is Big Girls Really Do Cry. Um, yeah, so I'm back after that accountability video that yeah, for anyone who watches my channel, um, yeah, it didn't really go to plan, did it? No. Um, I went through. I felt like I was whinging, and I know I'll feel like I'm whinging again, explaining everything. But my friends will say it's not whinging, it's just explaining stuff, but it feels like it to me. Um, and also, even if I was whinging, I have the rights to the kind of thing because of what's going on. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know. So, why have I not been back and what's happened, I guess, is that I've got notes to the side of me, so just be aware. But also, I need to explain this. I'm not doing some, like, um, one shoulder number. Um, the fluid intake in my body is quite high at the moment, and I can't get my top past my arm properly. Hence, why it's stretched over there. So just so you're aware. Um, in fact, my legs are swollen more. It's affecting my arthritis. It's very painful at the moment. I feel like my legs feel really heavy. I know that they are really heavy, but because of the fluid, it's horrible. Achy and heavy, and I get these like random moving pains that feel like someone's knuckle digging you. Is the only way I can describe it. Yes, describe it. But yeah, not fun. Not fun. So what else? What else happened? So the last time I spoke, I'd just well, my brother and sister-in-law completed my kitchen, and they were starting on David's room. Um, in the in the in the meantime of that, so that was back in mid-March. Um, in the meantime of that, um, they got married. So they got married in the back end of April, and I wasn't able to go because I'm physically not out and about yet. And yeah, I was pretty sad on the day. And then my brother and sister-in-law came to my house just before their night do started. So their night do started at 7, and they came to me about 20 to 7, and so showed me in their outfits. I got to see them all dressed up, and they looked amazing. And then on top of that, um, I feel myself welling up already. um, on top of that, my brother bought me a bottle of port and lemonade so I could drink with them essentially, even though I wasn't there, and also a platter of the buffet food. And then he made like a kind of an itinerary of what's going to happen, and he put the playlists. So starting the music at that time, this is what music was playing, and he did all the songs on it so I could play along, listen to it, and put some um, have a bit of food when they were, because it was the time when the buffet was. Yeah, to say to say that I bawled my eyes out, yeah, is an understatement. But I did, and then I think I probably did it again about 3 times, telling other people what they'd done, and it was just like then it just lovely that you know when you've been thought of, you know what I mean, and yeah, was wonderful. They've also been doing David's room. It's pretty much decorated, the carpet's down, all the painting and decorating's done. It just needs a blind, a new bed, and that's it really. Any stuff can go in it. So that's cool. What else? What else? Where was I? La 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 la. Okay, so in terms of us getting out and about, so when I last spoke in the March, I think I talked about getting in touch with Reablement, or I might have already got in touch with Reablement to refer myself to get some help to get back in the chair, because I'd been out of the chair so long, and I needed to build the stamina. Anyway, I can't do it with the carers because they can't wait. You know what I mean? They can only put us in. They can't get us out, and no one will come until like dinner time, and I can't sit that long. So these were helped us before the reablement. So I spoke to them, and it was so frustrating because the first person told us 2 weeks, and then it wasn't 2 weeks. And I kept ringing and ringing, and they said, "Oh, I don't know why they told you 2 weeks. We've got a waiting list." Anyway, they finally contacted us in the mid-May, and they had completely the wrong information. They were talking about my shoulder, and like my shoulder that I injured, which is that one that's swollen. I can actually move it now, which is good. It still feels odd a little bit, like not quite mine, if that makes sense, but I can use it, and I sometimes have to concentrate harder. Like reaching up's not so bad, but like reaching across, for some reason need to put extra concentration into it. But anyway, it's obviously much better. So I was like, no, this isn't about like my arm. This is about getting in a wheelchair. All right. So they went off, spoke to someone else. All right, someone else will ring you on Tuesday. I was like, right, okay. So this was the Friday. They rang us on the Tuesday. I ended up coming ill, so it was the Sunday after Eurovision. I was really ill. I got this horrendous sore throat. I felt like just awful, like, and then my chest started and my nose started, and I had terrible headaches and pressure in my face. And I would say I was poorly for about 10 days altogether. Weirdly, the sore throat thing lasted 1 day, which I thought was odd, but I also just felt absolutely exhausted, like wiped out. And I suppose that wasn't helping the case. So when they did ring us on the Tuesday, I wasn't very well, so they rang us back later in the week. And then when they did ring us back later in the week, they told me that, because I said I was hoping that they could come out at least, I mean, ideally 3 times a week, but at least twice. And she said, "Oh, no, we can't do that. We haven't got the facilities to do that." And I was like, "All right." And I said, "But I need to build up, and if it's not happening often, I'm not going to build up." "Well, we can only help you for 2 weeks." Like, and I went, "What?" And I says, "Well, it used to be 6 weeks." "Oh, no, it's changed now." And no one's said this to me, so I basically wasted my time, because it's not enough time. 2 weeks at once a week. That's how am I going to build up in that space of time? So she said that she could refer me to what's called a community hub. And again, I haven't heard any more, so I don't know. She said they have physios and others, OTs and other people who can help, and that they can work with you longer. So I don't know. My plan is to contact someone and find out who it is that I need to speak to about it, because I really need, like, I really, really need to get back outside. I haven't been outside since September. It's a hell of a long time, and it really is something that plays with my mental health. Like, it just really plays with my mental health. Like I can't explain it. It's just, well, it's, I suppose, cabin fever in it. You're stuck within 4 walls. and yeah, days are just disappearing, and yeah, and the way it's looking, it's like it feels like, oh, I'm not going to get out for like a year, you know, like it'll be a year by the time I get out, and I need to chase them because I feel like sometimes as well, if no one's getting on their case, they just ignore you, which is sad, really. You know what I mean? Oh, well, they're not like shouting their mouths off at us, so we'll just put them further at the bottom of the pile. That kind of feels is how it feels. Plus, with the fact that the original people, when I referred myself, and they totally changed the whole thing, it makes us think, well, I better make sure they're not going to turn around and say, oh no, we're just here for your shoulder, it's not us, and then refers to something else, and that go wrong. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just really annoying. What else? Like I said, I've put notes to the side of it so I could remember. Right, so I've talked about that. Well, I've talked about reablement. Obviously, it's just a whole letdown, that thing, and part of that, there's a sculpture, I'm going to call it, called the Knife Angel, and it's made up of 100,000 knives that were handed in by the public. And this guy turned the knives into a sculpture of a well, an angel, knife angel, and it's 27 foot high, and it's in Sunderland at the moment for a month, so here till the end of June, and because when I'd thingied myself to reablement, and I thought they were going to help me, and when they contacted us sort of mid May, I thought, oh well, that, you know, I might be able to catch the Knife Angel, go and see it before it leaves, you know, at the end of the month, because it would give us probably the 6 weeks I needed to build up enough, even if it was literally just to go there, see that, and come back, and take my camera and stuff. But that's not going to happen now, and I was really gutted. So that was on the first, I think it was the 1st of June, and like seeing on my Facebook everybody else's like pictures of it and that, and I just felt really gutted because I couldn't go. Anyway, so I've done update on David's room. So going back to the bedroom tax, basically, so I got a phone call, and the lady said she was from the tribunal people, and that she had a date for me for the hearing, and I was like, oh, thank God, you know, in my head, like, thank God type of thing. She said, there's a problem though, and I went, what? And she went, it's on June the 20th, and I was like, my birthday. And I was like, do you know what, it's fine, I'm 49 on that birthday, not 14. If it goes my way, it'll be a great birthday present, and if it doesn't, I'll drown my sorrows. on a sugar, low sugar or no sugar mixer with vodka. That's the plan. Yeah, so aye, so that's where that's at. Fingers crossed it goes my way. I have a feeling it won't. I'm not very. I want to be positive, but then I'm scared to be positive. But then I don't think either way, if I am positive or negative about it, it's still going to hit me the same if it doesn't go well. I have got someone who can help me, but it was too late for her to help me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it had gone past that point. But if needs be, and I don't know if there is an option to go above, I will. I have to. You know, things at the moment, like I'm paying the backdated, and I'm really struggling because, and also at the moment, as some of you may be aware, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was diagnosed with diabetes. I think I did. I was diagnosed with diabetes in December. Now, I've tried 3 different medications. All of them give me extreme diarrhea, right? I have IBS, and I think it's just aggravated by this. However, I also um, was suffering with it before when I was in hospital as well. This extreme thing, and I realised it happens quite a lot actually. Um, I think there's something in the food. I did wonder if it was possibly a gluten thing or whatever, but not not an not an extreme in the sense of like um, when I have gluten, it instantly does it. I don't think it's like that, but it does build up to it. So maybe it's like an amount of, I don't know. But anyway, I thought when they did the tests for IBS that they did every other test as well, but apparently not. So they've just been recently handed in, haven't had the results yet, to let me know. I think they were going to check some other infection, because when I was in hospital and it was happening, um, they kept testing us for C. diff, and C. diff is like a bacteria infection of your gut and your bowel or whatever, and it gives you extreme diarrhea and stomach pains, blah 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 blah, and it's also very contagious. But it turned out that I didn't have it, so they're going to test me for this other one, which begins with a H, and that logically it's gone out my head. And then they're also going to test us for Crohn's, colitis, what's the other one? Celiac. There was quite a few anyway, and I just thought, finally someone's going to do something. Do you know what I mean? And it could just be that because he said it could just be that your IBS is more severe now than it was, and there's not really anything they can do about that. So, well, I don't know. We'll see. But because of that, I've needed to buy more because of the diabetes and not being controlled. I have more of a thirst. Drinking more means you urinate more. It's the symptoms. Drinking more, go to the toilet more, which I think comes under drinking more anyway, and then affecting your eyes, your blurred vision, which is really bad for me at the minute. Hence these, because I don't usually need to wear glasses unless I'm reading. Like if I was reading quizzes and things, like I might wear them. But in the most, in genuine, in what's the word? What's the word? Generally, 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 yeah. I don't need to wear them, so yeah. It's everything's just affected, isn't it? Um, that so my food actually hasn't been too bad. It's not perfect, but because obviously the diabetes, I have cut my sugar. Well, I had cut my sugar quite a bit, but now I'm trying to only eat things that say low sugar on. So I've honestly, the worst bit is like I have a lot of ready meals and things because of being, you know, under carers and that. So that's really hard to find things, but I did find things. Um, but to be honest, food's boring me at the minute. That sounds weird. I'll eat it just because it's there, but I'm just bored with it. Um, but maybe that's something to do something about later. But um, what else? So I think because of all the diarrhea, I was just eating so I was having bouts of it for like 10 days and stuff, and then literally sort of within 30 minutes of eating, it would come back. So obviously that made everything sore. So I was finding that I was sorry. There's a freaking hair irritating my face. Right, sorted now. I find that I was having what was I going to say there? Oh, I find that I was having like a couple of days where I wouldn't eat just because of like needing to give the saunas a break, as it were. But also because I think I was just so sick of it, you know. Um, and then I tried chicken and rice. That didn't work. But then I tried chicken on its own, and it did. And I tried eggs on their own, and that was okay. And now I've slowly built back up to eating again. Um, but I know it's gonna go. I just know it's gonna go back there because it keeps happening. So fingers crossed to come up with something, and I know the answer. But yeah, it's not looking good, is it? Um, what else? Oh, and another thing about the food, I had a dream, right? Me and my dreams. I had a dream that I was. I had a dream that I got weird. Because you know I have trouble getting weird for those that follow. And if you don't know, I'm stuck in bed, so the only way to get weird is by them bringing bed scales and then weigh me with the bed, take the weight of the bed and the mattress off, and then you're left with mine. Although actually, he doesn't do it that way now because he just puts the bed on the scales, then he zeroes it, so it just puts mine. Anyway, so I haven't been weighed for, it's actually a year this month, year June. And I wanted to get weighed this month, but I can't get hold of the lad who used to do it. Now, I'm hoping he's still with the company, it's just that he's on holiday or something, and I will try again. But if not, uh, what I wanted to do was get weighed, put it in an envelope, and seal the envelope so I don't know what it says. And then in a year's time, on my 50th birthday, because June the 20th is my 49th, year's time is my 50th, I wanted to get weighed again, get him to put that in an envelope, and then I was going to open them both on camera and sort of see how much I'd lost. That was the plan. And I thought because it's so hard for us to get weighed anyway, why not just give that year gap? You know what I mean? But anyway, I haven't been able to get hold of him. If it can't be done before, I will go by the weight I was when I got weighed last year, because I don't really feel like I've lost anything, but I don't feel like I've gained anything as such. You know what I mean? So it, it'll work out anyway. And then if I can't get hold of one, if I can't get hold of him or he's left or whatever, then I'll just have to pay. Um, which the last I heard, it was £160 for me to get weighed, in terms of them bringing out the machine that goes under the bed. And what I'll do is, if I can't get hold of the lad who used to do it for nothing for me, then I will ask family to give me the money for my birthday to get weighed and that, you know what I mean? Because I thought it's not as important, and I know now what I am, because I still have that year ago thing, and I don't think, but it will be more important in a year's time to know what I am, I think. So that is the plan for that. Um, anyway, linked to the diabetes, I have medical waste bins, right? Well, I have a medical waste bin, that's a lie. So years ago, when the bin men used to come and it was weekly, I had medical waste, well actually there were bags then, so medical waste yellow bags and my usual bin. Then it went to a medical waste bin and my usual bin for household rubbish. Then when they went to fortnightly, um, there was more rubbish than the one bin, so I had to ask them for another medical bin, which they gave us. It was no problem, had it for years. Then randomly out of nowhere, my bin went missing. Turned out that they had took it. I thought it was stolen at first, paid for another, but it turned out that they had took it because I shouldn't have two bins, even though I'd had them for years, right? So I went through all this argument. Honestly, they were so horrible as well. Like, I felt bad enough as it is because of the medical conditions I have, do you know what I mean? But they were like so horrible about it as well, and I like really nasty. And I even like went above the woman I was dealing with to a like a manager, and in the end they agreed that I could have the second bin back, but they were going to monitor that, oh, that because they were blaming my carers, saying the carers weren't recycling enough. But the rubbish was coming from my room. It wasn't coming from the kitchen. It wasn't recycling. It was medical waste. That's why I needed it. And then they said they were going to monitor the bins and all that. And I never ever saw them. And for years it went fine again. And then randomly they took the bin again. And then absolutely point blank refusing, saying like they don't give out second bins. It's all in their notes. I wish I still had me, like, I don't know why, but my emails weren't there. I thought they might show in the send box, but not for this guy, so I could prove it. But I knew it was on their system because I'd spoke to someone and she read it out and it was on the system. But they were arguing. No, you just don't get two bins. You don't get two bins. Blah 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 blah. So that's been like that now for ages, and it's had an effect on putting the rubbish out, and I'm getting a build up of rubbish, and I'm worrying about what that's gonna, you know, the effects that'll have. And it's embarrassing enough. Do you know what I mean? It's embarrassing enough to need them without them doing this. So this is something I need to fight, but because of the whole bedroom tax thing, it's been there, but like, you know what I mean? And you know, thankfully my sister-in-laws took them to the tip for us because I don't know what else would be doing. And it's like, obviously she can't keep that up because they're going to question her why she's there all the, like, you know, she couldn't do it as a long-term thing because they'll question her that why she's there all the time, and that's not fair. Like, and obviously, you know, it's medical waste. You don't want it in your car. But I don't know. It's just like one thing after another. They're just in it like I said, I haven't got the brain thing to like deal with it. And then it's like even the incontinence services, so you only get like 4 pads a day, right? And like, especially with like the intense thirst and the more you, like more go on the toilet thing with the diabetes, but also because of my lymphedema, sometimes I can go through 10 pads. And so this, like the last lot of pads I got came back end of April, about the 20th, and I didn't have any left by mid May, so having to buy them, and I just really can't afford it. Like, I can't afford it. I've got, luckily, spotted some in a charity shop which I was able to get, because I don't know, they're not the correct ones, but it's better than nothing. And you know, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll have none again. So, and they're not due till July. So that's another thing. But again, just like, no, that's all you're allowed. That's all you're allowed. It doesn't matter. Like, they don't take into consideration like what conditions you might have, because there could be someone out there who only needs it overnight, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just frustrating, shall we say? Everything's frustrating, to be honest. Everything. It's just all frustrating. Like, I just, yeah. Um, yeah, and after that head and cold thing, I just constantly felt exhausted, and I still feel quite exhausted now. But I think that's partly down to the diabetes side of things, and the fact that I wasn't eating, and then obviously having diarrhea for 10 days, like full on watery diarrhea. It then takes out everything out of you, and all my meds. And I was, so they stopped my diabetes meds because of what it was doing, but it would take a few days to stop. And so say them 10 days that had happened, like my levothyroxine that I take for my underactive thyroid, and my vitamin D that I take obviously wasn't getting in my system. So, and also the fluids that I was losing was probably having a major effect as well. And so I was just shattered constantly, which is, it's been better, you know what I mean? It's been much better than it was. Um, anyway, I think I've pretty much rounded up most of what I wanted to say, apart from one last thing. And the reason I've kept this to last, even though this is the saddest part of this, is it despite all of those things, all of like what's happened, even the bedroom tax for the 2 years and whatnot, it pales in comparison. Um, one of my carers, who was 35 and pregnant, she died. Um, the baby is okay. Um, she was 7 months pregnant, and turns out that there was a blood clot in her leg, and she didn't come into work, which wasn't like her. So obviously we contacted our family, and what happened was is the night before, she'd phoned herself an ambulance. They didn't get there in time, unfortunately. I don't know how long she waited. But it just seems so unfair because, she has a 10-year-old as well, and obviously a baby son, and they've lost their mum. But she was just such a lovely, lovely girl. Like, I'm saying girl, she's 35, but she she was she was funny. We used to have a good laugh. We used to have serious conversations and funny conversations, and she would go above and beyond. And I didn't just think of her as a carer. I thought of her as a friend. She was so lovely, and it just doesn't seem right. And I was in shock for ages, and I'm still shocked because it doesn't. Well, it's just not fair, is it? And I guess I kept it for the end because I wanted to kind of say all of what I've just talked about, in if you put things in perspective, you know what I mean, in the sense of the frustrations in my life is nothing compared to what is just happening to her and her family. And I was going to start like off with it because I felt bad sort of leaving it till last, but I felt if I started off with it, it wouldn't be right to explain the rest. I don't get how things work like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, just seems wrong. Just seems really wrong. And just so like out of the blue. And I guess that's, we never know what's round the corner. We really don't. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'm gonna round this up, I guess. And I hope you are all good. I hope you're all well. I hope you've got less worries than you did yesterday. And I hope you've got things you can enjoy. And yeah. And if you don't, find them. Find them. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye now. Bye bye.